Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to take a whole stack of sources and really boil them down to the key nuggets of knowledge for you.
That's the goal.
And today, our focus is on something called the journey of success. It's just a few lines, actually, but really powerful principles packed in there. So our mission today is basically to crack open each one, figure out what's going on beneath the surface, and, see what they might mean for your path forward.
Yeah, and what's so striking, I think, is just how much wisdom is packed into so few words. It's a really concise framework.
Right.
And we're not just going to look at what they say, but really dig into the why these specific points. Some of them aren't what you might immediately think of.
Okay, let's get into it. The author starts with something that, well, it feels pretty straightforward. Success takes time and work.
Seemed obvious, right?
Exactly. But we live in this world, that's kind of obsessed with instant results, overnight fame, that kind of thing. So how easy is it to actually forget this? And what's the real risk if you do?
It's deceptively simple, that line. It's doing more than just saying work hard. It's pushing back against that whole instant gratification culture we see everywhere. The source is sort of hinting at what some people call deliberate practice, consistently pushing yourself just a little bit beyond where you're comfortable.
Okay.
And understanding that patience allows for compound growth. It's not just about sheer effort right now.
So the danger is missing out on that longer-term buildup.
Yeah, exactly. Or burning out, chasing quick wins that don't really last. Or, maybe even worse, giving up just before things really start to take off, before that compounding kicks in. It makes you ask yourself, are you just, busy? Or are you intentionally building something over time?
That leads nicely into the next line, which is, well, it's a really interesting combination. Don't rush, don't be a jerk.
Yeah, it's quite a pair.
I mean, the don't be a jerk part. Okay, I think we can all see how that would get in the way of success, but don't rush. Isn't ambition sometimes about speed? About grabbing opportunities before they disappear? How does the source connect rushing and, well, not being a jerk?
That's where the real insight is, I think. Don't rush here isn't saying don't be ambitious. It's more about avoiding those impulsive, maybe short-sighted moves that happen when you're just going too fast.
Okay, like making mistakes.
Mistakes, yeah. Or cutting corners on quality, or even just completely burning yourself out before you actually achieve the goal.
Right.
And then the don't be a jerk part, that ties directly into whether your success can actually last.
Sustainability.
Exactly. We've all encountered that person, right? Brilliant, maybe even gets results quickly. But they leave this trail of, alienated colleagues or damaged relationships.
Yeah. Burns bridges.
Burns bridges, yeah.
Yeah.
And eventually, their network shrinks. Their reputation suffers. The source is pretty clear. How you get there, your integrity, how you treat people, the respect you show, that's just as fundamental as the goal itself. Lasting success, it suggests, is built on those relationships, not just on solo sprints.
Okay, moving on, we hit this trio. Stay kind, stay true, stay bold. These feel like guiding principles almost.
Stars to navigate by, yeah.
But sometimes the path to success can feel pretty competitive, even cutthroat. So what does the source imply about how these three work together? Especially when maybe being kind and being bold might seem to pull in opposite ways.
Well, what's really clever here is that they're presented as a kind of dynamic system, not just separate items on a list.
Okay.
So kindness in a tough environment, that's not about being weak. It's actually strategic empathy. It builds trust. It creates allies, even potentially with competitors, over the long haul. And staying true, that's deeper than just, not lying. It's about knowing your core values, your non-negotiables, what defines you, and sticking to that even when there are tempting shortcuts or opportunities that don't quite align.
Right. Maintaining your integrity.
Exactly. And then boldness. That's not about being reckless or arrogant. It's about calculated risks. It's having the courage to voice your ideas, to step up even when it's uncomfortable.
But anchored by the other two.
Yes, anchored by your truth and tempered by kindness. The source seems to say they're interconnected. Real strength, real ethical progress comes from keeping those three in balance, constantly adjusting.
And that brings us to the final line, which is quite beautiful. Your story is yet to be told.
Yeah, that one resonates.
For someone listening who maybe feels a bit stuck or overwhelmed or perhaps like their path is already kind of set, what's the real message in that line? Is it reassurance? A challenge?
I think it's incredibly empowering, actually, because it totally refrowns how we look at the whole journey, doesn't it?
How so?
Well, it fights against that feeling that success is some fixed point you either reach or you don't, or that past failures somehow lock in your future.
Okay, yeah.
Instead, it says, look, your life is this ongoing story. It's still unfolding. Every choice, every setback, every win, it's all just part of the narrative being written. It's not the final chapter.
So it's about embracing the process.
Exactly. Embrace the process, learn from everything, and realize your potential isn't used up. It's still emerging. It sort of suggests, that you hold the pen for the next part of the story. You can influence the plot.
So thinking back over these lines from The Journey of Success, we've really seen that real achievement isn't just a quick dash. It's more like a marathon. It takes that consistent effort, but also a kind of smart patience. And we've learned that how you actually run that race, with integrity, with kindness, with the courage to be bold, and really paying attention to the people around you, that's just as vital as crossing any finish line.
Yeah, what really stands out for me is how all these simple points together shift the focus. Success isn't just the end result. It's about the person you become along the way.
Right.
And the unique story that you're actively creating day by day.
So for you listening, here's something to maybe chew on a bit. We've talked about these simple but really quite deep ideas. Time and work. Don't rush. Don't be a jerk. Stay kind. Stay true. Stay bold. And finally, your story is yet to be told. Which one of those feels like it speaks most directly to you right now? Which one feels like maybe the missing piece in how you're approaching things? And just maybe, how could bringing that principle more consciously into your life, how could that change the very next chapter that you're writing?